The offensive playbook you choose is the single biggest decision you'll make here in Madden 26, and if you choose the wrong one, it could be the reason you're still losing games and throwing interceptions every drive. Luckily for you, in this video, I've studied all the playbooks in Madden 26 and present to you the top 3 that you absolutely need to be using. You're not going to skip out on any of the plays or playbooks I'm breaking down today, so let's jump right into it. The first playbook I want to break down is the best pro offensive playbook here in Madden 26 that won Drini $1 million at the Madden Bowl. Let me show you. Alright, so our first play here is going to be tight curl from gun tight doubles. Alright, the setup here is going to be putting your slot receiver on a shriek. You are going to put your tight end, you're going to motion him over and then put him on a post route. Alright, so it's going to look something like this. And then if you wanted to, you could put your B receiver on a return, or you could just leave him on his drag. But really, this is a play where you're actually going to be able to beat every single defense in the game with one central route combination. Alright, so too many of you guys struggle to read defenses when in reality you don't even need to worry about doing that. All you have to do is call plays that can actually beat every defense and then go through the read progression after the snap. So the first read here is going to be RB, then you're probably going to look to, your tight end, and then maybe look to your drag over the middle. But realistically, you have so many options, and the faster that you can scan the field, the better, because there's also going to be times where, they do a good job in man coverage on one of your primary reads, and you might have to get to like your 4th or 5th read on this play. The reality is, all like X, A, B, and RB here on this play, everyone but the shriek. Actually, no, the shriek could kind of get open against if they run like cover 3, like right here, where I can just throw it up the seam that was kind of tight. But it's like there could be situations where you could throw that shriek route, but it's like for most of the time, you're really just looking to get to your post, your drag, your flat route, maybe your corner on the sideline. Like right here, they're actually going to run man. There's no one guarding. That's why I always say, like, you have to have your first reads down, because if I would have passed that up, that was an easy 20-yard gain because they didn't have a flat on that side. So really, you always have to be looking for your checkdowns first. Too many of you guys are looking down the field too early, like right off the snap. You just want to throw it deep. But the checkdowns are really what keep drives alive. Like right here, Thielen cooks on that corner. And so even though that was probably my 4th read, I did take a peek over there to see if he was going to win. He did, and so I hit him on time. But it's like, anytime you're playing offense, you never want to pass up on easy completions underneath. Right, so that's why you always need to be looking for that. If that outside corner is going to backpedal Tariq Woolen right there, that tells me that I can throw that drag right underneath of him. If he was in a hard flat, he came down, then that would tell me that I could throw my corner. But he backpedals here, taking away my corner, so now I just looked at my drag underneath, easy completion. No reason to wait for this. You also see how their hook zones are backpedaling, taking away my post, and so again, just gives me an easy option underneath to throw, an easy completion out there. So that's really our first play here that Drini loved using in the Madden Bowl, because it really is a great route concept that beats every defense, going through a read progression, stepping up in the pocket, and you're going to have someone open against every single defense in the game. But next, we're going to come into gun trips, tight end flex, calling motion, zone, alert, Omaha. This is one of the best RPOs, maybe the best in the game, because you can actually hot route your RPOs from a trips formation. That's what makes it so unique. So you have to read the look. What I would say most of the time is you want to find a way to get your, X receiver DK Metcalf the ball here on a flat route, get out to the flat sooner. You don't want him to run a bubble where he's losing his momentum by running backwards. So you want to put him on a flat, put your tight end on a slant like this, and then hike the ball and then make the read. Sometimes though, you're not going to be able to throw either of them. Like right there, your first read is going to be DK on his flat, but since there's a man coverage defender following him on this play, I just said, okay, I'm not going to throw this. I'm just going to hand the ball off. It's wide open there. We pick up, 2 or 3 yards on that play. Right here, it's a completely different story where now they're leaving the seam open. If DeMarcus Lawrence doesn't backpedal here to defend this seam, this is wide open. And he didn't, so I throw it, and look how easy of a gain that is down the field. A 30-yard gain because I'm able to hot route my RPO and put him on a shriek depending on the look. Right here, they walk this safety down. I believe he's still going to be in a flat, so I think the seam is still going to be open right here. So I hike it. Yep, he's going to be blitzing, and so that seam is still open for a big gain down the field, and we're able to score a touchdown. So it's like, that's what makes this specific RPO so dangerous, is your ability to actually add hot routes to it. Now, right here, I believe this hook zone defender over DK is going to backpedal. So I'm going to put him on a flat this time. Exactly right. And so now I throw my flat out here, and we're still able to stay in bounds and turn this into a huge gain. So that's really what makes this RPO so dangerous. You've seen it 4 different times where we've had 4 different reads, to kind of just depending on the look that they give us. Right here, this would probably be a flat and a slant. Maybe look to my tight end over the middle, but then I could also, I'm going to look to my tight end, easy completion right there over the middle, get my block to set up, and it's an easy gain. So really, it's an if-then statement, just looking at what the defense is doing, where you want to hot route your receivers. But the reality is, if no one, gets open after you snap the ball, you can always just hand it off to your running back. But that's what makes this Steelers offense the best pro offense in the game. Alright, so if you found those first 2 plays here from the Steelers offensive playbook helpful in Madden 26, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down Madden 26 tips and tricks just like this every single day to help you guys get better, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But if you want my full Steelers offensive ebook with all the best, one-play touchdowns, red zone setups, literally this part of the video, which is a piece of the puzzle for the full ebook, go to the link down below in the pinned comment. You can grab it today by using code YouTube to get 20% off. You can save everything I put in there on your phone during gameplay, and it's always yours to access forever. So I highly recommend you check it out, and let's jump to those final 2 playbooks. Which that next one is going to be the most underrated offense here in Madden 26 from the Seahawks playbook. Let me show you. Alright, so our play here from the Seahawks playbook is going to be Y sail from doubles flex Y off close. Alright, so what we're going to do is the setup is going to put Jackson Smith and Jigba on a drag or whoever you have with the Y receiver, and this is another example of an everything beater, because this is going to be able to beat every defensive game, and you pretty much just have to find your guy open, that could potentially be getting the ball here. So again, why this drag the Y receiver, and then be looking for one of your checkdowns. I always tell you guys the checkdowns are the first read of the read progression, because if you play all throughout the game, you're going to notice how your drags are going to be open all the time. Your underneath passes, like if they don't have hard flats on the field, these are just going to be easy completions for you to be able to hit. And the reason why you always want to start the game hitting checkdowns is to open up the rest of the game. That's what's going to force them to put hard flats in the field and defend the underneath, which will open up Cooper Kupp's backside dig, Barner on his corner route. But right here, they're going to blitz us. I trust Cooper Kupp to create separation on that backside dig route, and we're able to hit it. So it's like, realistically with this play, like I showed you from tight curl in the Steelers playbook, right? 4 guys can get the ball in this play. The tight end can get it, Y can get it, RB can get it, and Cooper Kupp on the backside dig can get the ball. So we hike the ball again, and this time they're going to run man, and we end up throwing an incomplete pass. But what I want you to always remember when you're calling an everything beater like this is it's okay to throw incomplete passes, right? Sometimes you'll get shedded, some guys will drop the ball, whatever it is. So like I was saying, sacks are not acceptable with everything beaters. You should very rarely take a sack, because you're going to have someone open for at least a few yards every play, right? You can live with incomplete passes, drops, those type of things, but it's like these sacks will just end your drive. You should always know when you're sending 5 out that you have to get rid of the ball on time, with a sense of urgency. But you're seeing it here with this play, where it's like we've gone through it so many times. We've had someone open on every single play, and it's just going to be our responsibility to find him and go through the read progression. So your read progression really with this is you're looking for Y, RB, B, and then A right here with this. But it's like right here they're going to run man, and so we're going to find our corner right there, try to freeform it over the top. So it's like with this play, never take a sack. Always make sure you're stepping up in the pocket and hitting your checkdowns, because a lot of the time they're gonna blitz you, not have a flat on the field, or you're gonna have someone wide open. But the Seahawks playbook, the most underrated playbook here in the game. Alright, and before I jump to that final offensive playbook that you're absolutely not going to want to miss here in Madden 26, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down Madden 26 tips and tricks just like this every single day to help you guys get better, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But let's jump into that final playbook, because that's going to be the most toxic offense here in Madden 26 from the Bears playbook. Let me show you why. Alright, so our first play here from this Toxic Bears playbook is going to be halfback direct snap. Alright, no surprise here. This is still the best, run play here in this game because it's going to be really hard for them to stop. Obviously, the reason why is because there's no handoff animation, right? Normally, that's going to slow you down, allow for good users to be able to gap shoot you really easily. But really right here, you're just seeing how they take a horrible pursuit angle. You can get to the second level of the defense, and especially when you have the speed boost mechanic down, you can really do a great job of getting wherever you want. Like you see how I wanted to cut back right there. I saw that gap open, so I was able to speed boost to get to that spot and turn that into easy yards. Also, a lot of the time, the edge could potentially be open if 58 right there. If he actually can seal the edge defender, not let that defender set the edge, then you're going to have an easy gain out here on the sideline. Like right here, my tight end does a great job of sealing the edge, and so we're able to pick up 6 yards on this. What I would tell you guys is your average with this run is pretty often always going to be over 4 yards a carry, which means that you're going to be able to pick up a first down time and time again up and down the field, right? Right there, we lose a yard, but it's like we've also gained 20 yards potentially. Like right here, we rip off a touchdown. So that's what I'm saying, where it's like you can speed boost, but you're always pretty much going to keep your average above 4, which really means you can go to this whenever you want and always stay ahead of the change. That's what really makes it so toxic, because it's going to be really hard for people to consistently stop this in the backfield or for less than 4 yards and prevent you from picking up first downs. But if you're playing MUT, you have like Jamal Charles or guys with like Freight Train, where this is where that becomes even more valuable. But even if you're not playing MUT, you can always just call this play in any game mode and really rely on yourself to pick up those 4 yards of carry that you really need to turn this into a consistent chain mover. So that's really the whole point of this play. You can rip off big gains at any point, but it's just to stay ahead of the chains. You can call it at any point and not feel pressured to have to pass the ball every play. So that's really our first really great toxic play here, from this Bears playbook. But here, let me show you another one. So that next play that we're going to break down here from this Bears playbook that's really toxic is going to be motion halfback choice. The reason why isn't even necessarily going to be for the purposes of the bomb. This could be a great bomb play, but it's actually the extra glitch tight end hot routes that you have access to. So you see how your tight end's on a motion. There's other plays here in this playbook. We'll actually look here from the Bunch X Nasty formation, where it's like if your tight end is on a motion, like motion corner under, motion clear halfback seam, motion Y corner under, all of these motion plays where you have your tight end on the motion, you're going to be able to do this. I just think motion halfback choice happens to be the best one out of all of them here for, again, other purposes. But what you're going to see right here is when you flip your play, now whatever you hot route your tight end to, it is like inverted and backwards. So I put my tight end on a drag, and now he's going to run this like inverted kind of backwards drag. And why I like this is because you can't put your tight end on a flat route in this game when he's attached to the line of scrimmage. Like you see how you only have access to like stick and nod, pass block, right, out route. But if I want to put him on a flat, because I believe a flat's going to get out to the flat sooner than an out route would, obviously, I can just flip my play and then put him on a drag, and now he runs it inverted, so he's going to be breaking out to the flat immediately. Where it's like now we create bumping right there for an easy gain against man coverage. That would never be possible if you put him on an out route, because then the guy would be able to recover really well. So that's really the first great use case for these extra kind of glitch hot routes here from the tight end. But also you can put him on a slant. And a slant is basically inverted, going to be a short corner, right? So he's basically just going to run up here and then just like break underneath of those flat. Like in 91 right there, Trey Hendrickson was in a flat zone. And so he just runs right underneath of him for an easy gain out there on the sideline. Like it's like a super short corner. He breaks at like 1 yard, breaks out to the sideline, and then he's still able to get really great depth out here, out to the sideline. So it's basically like, how you can, put your tight end on a corner route, right? And then you can smart route it all the way down, or custom stem it all the way down. This route actually does a better job. It goes even shorter. Like earlier in the year, if you played, you could smart route your routes or custom stem them all the way down. Well, this is what the slant actually allows you to do, with basically a smart route all the way down corner, but it's even shorter than the ones that are typically available. Look at that, wide open right there on the sideline, easy gain, extend the ball over the goal line, potentially for a touchdown. So really, this Bears playbook becomes really toxic when you mix in halfback direct snap, but then you get really creative creative with a lot of these hot routed RPOs where you have your man, your tight end here on like these inverted routes, which just, there's some really great use cases for them. Like my favorite is, the flat out here, get out to the flat sooner versus putting on an out route, which would typically run him right into the defender. So you can really get creative with this, but Bears playbook super toxic, halfback direct snap, motion halfback choice, put your tight end on these kind of glitch routes and start reaping the benefits of it. All right, so if you found that breakdown of the top 3 offensive playbooks helpful here in Madden 26, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down Madden 26 tips and tricks just like this every single day, give you guys free ebooks, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But if you want this full Bears or Steelers offensive ebooks, go to the link down below in the pinned comment to grab them today by using code YouTube to get 20% off. They go through the full videos, screenshots, write-ups, everything you're going to need to dominate an offense from either one of these playbooks, and I highly recommend you check it out. But if you want to see a gameplay of me running that Bears offense here in Madden 26, check out this video right here. I'll see you over there. Peace.